Hey guys, Jessica here, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be giving a makeover to this bookshelf. I had a friend that gave me this little bookshelf stand. I absolutely love the look of it and the details of this, but I don't really like the color of it. I am going to be putting it in my son's nursery and use it as a little bookshelf. I really like the look of the chippiness that this has, and I would really like to have a little distressing and chips in the paint and add a little aged look to it. So to start things off, I'm going to remove the back of the bookshelf. I used a screwdriver to separate it away and pull out the nails that was holding the backing of the bookshelf in place. So I took the little bookshelf outside and I removed the little metal claw feet that were on it. I'm going to be using paint and varnish stripper to remove this paint. The reason I'm going to be stripping the paint off is because, like I said, I really like the chippy, distressed look of the piece, and I want to be able to distress it a little bit after I paint it. So I sprayed it on really liberally over the entire bookshelf, and then I grabbed some saran wrap, placed it over the bookshelf, and let it sit for a little bit. Now you can see that the stripper has been working and it's kind of bubbled up the paint. So I pulled the saran wrap off and I started scraping off the paint. So I discovered that the paint was not original to this piece. Originally it had a dark mahogany stain on it. So now that I have scraped off all the loose paint, I'm just going to spray this off with a garden hose just to help remove that goop of the paint and the stripper residue. Obviously, you do not want to do this with a non-solid wood piece of furniture as it would ruin the furniture. But since this is a solid wood piece and it is a really nice sunny day, I'm just going to spray it off really quick. So now I grab my hand sander and I'm just going to sand off the rest of the remaining finish and the paint that was left on this piece. The paint stripper didn't work quite as well as I'd hoped, so there was a little bit of paint left, but I mainly used it just to get into the grooves and the hard to reach detailing of the piece. Then I came back with a metal scraper and a wire brush and I scraped off any remaining finish and remaining paint in the hard to reach places. So now that I have the paint cleaned off to satisfactory, I am going to be giving this piece a really good cleaning using soapy rag and water, and then I came back with a clean wet rag to remove any of the soap residue. I am going to prime this piece using Zinsser primer. This is an oil-based primer and I applied 2 coats of the primer as I was a little worried about bleed through from the stain that I couldn't sand off. I did have a little bit of bleed through the first coat of primer, but after the second coat I didn't have any problems with bleed through. So now it is time to paint, and I am going to be using Rustoleum chalked paint in the color Linen White. And I will link all the products that I use down in the description box below if you want to check them out. I used a nap roller to roll on the paint, and I used a small brush to get into any of the little detailing. Before I applied the second coat of paint, I am going to come in with a foam block sander and give the piece a light sanding to smooth out real nice. Then I clean the dust off with a rag, and now it is time to apply the second coat of paint. So after the second coat of paint has had time to thoroughly dry, I am going to come back with a little block sander and distress some of the edges. So now that I have it distressed to my liking, I'm going to finish this piece off using some wax to seal the chalk paint. And I am using Waverly Inspirations white wax. Although it does say the color is white, it is definitely not white, and it is more of a cream color. Unfortunately, this was the only wax that I had on hand. A clear wax would have been much more ideal for this piece. But I brushed it on and then came back with a lint-free cloth and wiped away the excess. So lastly, I'm going to be using some contact paper to cover the back of this bookshelf. But first, I sanded down the back with my hand sander to smooth out any drip marks of paint and then any bumps that were in the wood back. I wiped it down real good, and then I'm going to be using this pretty wallpaper. I bought this off of Amazon, and again, I will link the one that I used down in the description box below. So I cut it out to size, peeled off the backing, and laid it out there. I had to use 2 different pieces so they would fit correctly, but I think it looks really pretty. So now it is time to put everything back together. I put the metal feet back on the legs of the bookshelf and then I nailed them into place. And then with my husband's help, we nailed the backing back into place. Of course, the little guy had to come and check up on our work and help us out. So now it is all finished, but before I show you the final reveal, just a quick reminder of what this little bookshelf looked like before. And here it is now. I really like how this little bookshelf turned out. It matches really nicely with my son's nursery. And I think the little guy approves. So thank you for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you are not already a subscriber to our channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below, and I will see you guys in a later video.